I'm going to go over some offshore financial information that I think you would like to hear and know. You need to do some serious thinking before you put assets, whether it be in real estate or equities, into an IBC trust, foundation, or an LLC. In this video, I'm actually going to be talking to you about also interest rates in St. Kitts and what the banks are paying at just like a floating rate, and things that you need to be aware of before you put property or equities into an entity such as an LLC, trust, or foundation. One of the biggest disadvantages of having a legal entity to own your asset is the compliance costs that you're actually going to incur each year from the registered agent, and government fees, and also fees you're going to have to pay to the registered office to issue things like certificate of good standing, certificate of incumbency. Now the banks are requiring you turn these in almost on an annual basis, and banks and brokerage companies are requiring this now. And the registered offices are charging higher and higher fees just for one little sheet of paper, sometimes a couple of $100. It's ridiculous. Anyway, these are, certificates that show your entity is up to date in its annual filing, and it's still in force, and that the financial institution has current knowledge of who the directors and owners are. I'll be going through this in more details. Also, if you would hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen here, you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And don't forget to hit the notification bell just to the right of the subscribe button. And number two is I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below, and I'll see what I can do to help solve whatever problem you've got. And number three is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and hit that button at the top of the home page that says apply with us, and then fill out the question, the series of questions, and then hit that button at the bottom that says send it to us so we can help you get started. We deal with a lot of citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries I think you'd be interested in learning about. Okay, now you need to do some serious thinking before you put assets, whether it be real estate or equities, into an IBC trust, foundation, or LLC. Most people don't take the time to really think this over. It's important that you do. If you put a property into one of these entities and then you decide later that you don't need the entity anymore, you might be stuck with it, because most countries that enact a stamp duty when you're selling a property will also hit you if you change the title on who owns the actual property. In other words, if you switch owners on a title, the Revenue Department, for instance, in St. Kitts, will view that exchange, as I've mentioned on another video, as a sale, even if that sale did not occur. And St. Kitts has got a 10% stamp duty when your property is sold on the title, if the title is actually changed. And a lot of countries, especially pure tax havens that do not have a capital gains tax, do enact a stamp duty. So this is something you really have to think about. The second reason is if your money is in equities, and those equities are owned by an IBC trust or an LLC, and you decide later that you want to get out of it because you don't need it anymore, or you're just tired of all the fees that you're incurring, you're pretty much stuck in it. And the reason I say this is almost all offshore online brokers and banks will not let you exchange your equities from your company's account to an account in your name. You actually have to get in and sell the shares of the equities and then put it all into cash, and then transfer the cash over to an account in your own name. The problem with this is if you've got a lot of money in equities, by the time you sell the shares of the equities and then transfer it into your account, in your cash account, and then buy the equities again, not only do you have the cost of the equities all over again, but the stock market is up more days than it's down, which means the odds are that you're going to be buying a majority of these shares back at a higher price. And depending on your assets, you could lose enough just in 1 week's time from the market going down, is what your fees on a corporate renewal fees would be, what you'd pay for 100 or 200 years. But the reason I say this is a big decision, because you are in these pretty much for life until you actually, in real estate, you would have to sell the actual entity to get out or take that hit on that stamp duty cost. Now, as far as banking goes, you can actually get around 2.5% on a floating rate in St. Kitts that doesn't tie your money up in the EC dollar, and the EC dollar is tied to the US dollar. The exchange rate is 1 US dollar equals 2.7 EC dollars. Now, when I say a floating rate, I mean you can take the money out to use for whatever reason you want, because your money, would not be tied up. If you don't want to hassle and go with the cost of dealing with an IBC trust or LLC, then I would just take it and put the asset in your own name. You will sacrifice confidentiality, taxes in some instances, and also asset protection, though, if you do that. So that's something you have to make a decision on. But the compliance costs and hassles will be a lot less. I mean, this is something you have to look at. Registered agents are now going up on their fees because all these compliance costs they have to keep up with on their clients. Some agents are charging ridiculous fees just for one sheet of paper on a company certificate of good standing or an incumbency certificate. You didn't used to have all these new regs these regs are really piling up because of CRS and FATCA, and they want the banks to be keeping this information, and local regulators are gradually complying. So if your bank's not hitting you on this now, eventually they're going to hit you up on this. It's a lot of time and hassle. This can be a great, added cost and hassle having, to deal with this, and then with your registered agent or trust company each year for each bank account where these entities are actually or accounts are located. So if you've got 10 different banks and they're all requiring this, you're going to have to turn these sheets in on an annual basis. Now, some of them haven't actually gotten around to requiring these annual statements to be turned in, but they're gradually doing it. It's getting to be a real hassle. An incumbency certificate is an official document issued by a corporation or limited liability company that lists the names of its current directors, officers, and occasionally key shareholders. It specifies who holds which positions within the organization and is most frequently used to confirm the identity of individuals who are authorized to enter into legal binding transactions on the company's behalf. An incumbency certificate records the identities of a firm's current directors, officers, and occasionally key shareholders. It also often will be required by a financial institution when opening an account to guarantee the persons who claim to be authorized signatory of a company or that's authorized to work on the account. And also contracts for transactions involving companies usually require a certificate of incumbency to determine who can legally bind the company in contracts. Now, a certificate of good standing is a document that helps to establish your company as a legitimate venture and legally authorized to conduct a business. A certificate of good standing certifies that a company is actually properly registered in the state, is up to date on all state registration fees and required document filings, and is legally permitted to engage in business activities in the state. In some states, it's called a certificate of status or certificate of existence. Now, if you want to learn more on this, I would go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly, and you can go to the top bar, hit it where it says apply with us, and then fill out those questions, and then hit that bar at the bottom that says send it to us so we can help you get started. We deal with a lot of different citizenship residency by investment countries. Also, I'd like to hear from you if you got a question or comment, but put it below and I'll get back with you right away. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right of the screen here, and you'll get new videos as they come out. And also, don't forget to hit the notification bell just to the right of the subscribe button. And I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.